We're on top. Hey!
Kabu fans, I just really am passionate about people being respectful of marriage and the sanctity of marriage and not forcing others to live through suffering. So I may have come off a little harsh, but these are my opinions and I apologize if you took offense. Now, let's talk about this very interesting Ask the Girls, which had us in stitches. And this is how it goes. Nilipata used CDs in our compound last month. Sikutaka kuuliza ni nani ama ni nani alikuwa responsible because there are 4 grown-ups in the homestead. My wife, her cousin, the housemaid, and our teenage nephew. Okay? I threw them away and made a commitment to investigate. Sasa kumbe zingine zilitupwa last week and I didn't know and my wife found them. Sasa yeye pia akanyamaza, akichunguza. Friday, which was a holiday, sikuenda job, but my wife akaenda salon hadi afternoon. Coming back home jioni, she found them again. Akaingia kwa nyumba, akapack na akaenda kwao. I was at my local pub at the time. Kurudi usiku, napata nyumba iko almost empty except for my clothes and the trousers zimekatwa mguu moja moja zote. She had also beaten the housemaid, who was the only person I found left. I have tried to call her time and again. Akanisho, niendelee na huyo maid wangu. How do I solve this? Like, this had me in stitches because not her collecting all her property and then making sure you will suffer. Just, the thing we keep telling people is you just do enough damage. Just enough inconveniencing damage. The way Turi carried a gas pipe and all the spices, the same way, inconvenience them enough. Taking the microwave, the plate from the microwave, taking the plug from, the fridge, taking all the extension cables from the house such that easy connect any devices to anything else. Just inconveniencing enough. This one has taken the cake for me. She took all his trousers, akakata mguu nusu. Moja tu, si mguu zote, zote inaweza kuwa fashion, inaweza kuwa you become a cool out guy, She just cutted one. Mguu anachukua na kata. That was so petty. I loved it. Such an inconvenience. You have nothing else to wear except what you are wearing. That was so funny. But I think let's talk about the major issue here is the fact that he lives with like 4 grown-ups in this household. 5 including himself, and of course many people who tend to see things like this, I think this is where communication plays a huge role in a relationship. We say it here all the time. Communication is literally the only thing that can make sure everyone is understood and everyone understands the other. Had you spoken up about this weeks when you found out, the first time you found this out, and you just don't even tell everyone else, just your wife. You're like, hey babe, Aki, I found these whatevers and I don't know what this is about. I'm very, very curious. Umeongea na kijana ukasikia da da da. You didn't do that. You just, in your mind, you kind of assumed, but maybe she's one of the people, right? Maybe she's one of the people that is using these particular condoms, and now she's disposed them. If I bring it up, it'll be like a whole thing. So you decided to nyamazia for yourself and chunguza. You thought you were smart. Now, she also found these used contraceptive rubbers, and instead of coming and telling you, she also nyamaziad. Akanyamazia, because she's doing the same thing. She's like, she assumes it's either you or the other 4 adults in the household. Now, both of you in this particular case are showing very clear signs of a lack of communication and trust. And that is the hugest problem in your relationship, because ultimately she suspected that it was you. She suspected that it was you with the house manager, and ultimately once this happened again when she was away and you were in the house, she confirmed it in her head that yeah, for sure it was him and the house manager because I was away. So when nilitoka mlishughulika, alafu mimi mnakuja kuni. And she left. I think honestly the only way to solve your situation is just talking to your partner, explaining these things. Unfortunately for you, it's going to be difficult because ukisema hata nilipata 2 weeks ago, atakuamini. Anaweza kosa kukuamini. Mbona ukusema? You're lying. It's very easy for you to come up with a story in your mind and decide that that is the truth. But ultimately, all of these issues could have been solved with communication. And in hindsight, they should have. But now that you're in this situation, I think you need to find your wife physically. Si unajua ako wapi? Si umesema unajua ako kwao. Just go find her. Have a conversation with her, try and iron it out, and then figure it out from there. You know, there's so many things that could have been done differently, but clearly now that you're in this, just talk to your wife.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a couple here that we're really missing out on, and that is the house help and the older nephew that is living with you. My instinct and my thought is all of this is coming from the two, because it's two mumu people. Two mumu people who are unable to dispose correctly. Two people without sense. You know, one person who's freeloading at your house and another person who works for you and is kind of resentful about, you know, working here. And honestly, and even the fact that the house help was beaten and accepted to be beaten, she was guilty of something. Because, you know, when you're beating an innocent person, they're going to fight back. They're going to tell you, what the hell are you talking about? It's going to be a thing. And even when you come back home, you're not going to find them because how dare she beat me? She'll be running to the police station. But you found your house help still in the house. What is keeping her in the house? Your nephew, babes. Your nephew. So from your wife's perspective, she beat this babe, she left, and this babe still stayed. So she's like, oh, so you're waiting for your man to come home. But she kind of got the wrong man. So my advice for you is go talk to your wife. Go talk to your wife, and if possible, even try to get a confession from your nephew and your house help. Or maybe ni mtu anatembea tu anarusha hivi kwa fence yenyu. I don't know. But I feel like it was such an reaction on your wife's part to kind of, you know, go and to kind of assume something, act on it, and not consult anyone. Also, that lack of trust. Why didn't she confront you? Gosh, that's crazy.
Ultimately, the both of you need to have a conversation, and please make it clear that every time you're having chats, like every time something sounds funny, looks funny, please just talk to each other. Honestly, the only people who can solve these issues is just you guys. Honestly, it could be your nephew has like a small young girlfriend somewhere else and he keeps bringing her to the house, you know, because honestly, if it was the house manager, haizi kuwa lazima kuwe mjanja kidogo, atatupa na sense, you know, ataficha akitupa garbage and whatever. It could be your nephew has like a new girlfriend. He's young, what does he know? Yeah, amemaliza shughuli yake anatupa tu kwenye anatupa.
So we are saying your nephew has no sense.
Your nephew is young and senseless. He has broken. He needs to be kicked out first of all. Anyway, I think have a conversation with your wife, and then the two of you need to come and have now conversations with both your house manager and your nephew, and try and get a confession out of them. Threaten them to kick them out if possible. Whatever needs to be done for the sake of your marriage. And then henceforth, please be open and honest with communication when it comes to your relationship.
See something, say something.
Mbona mnashukiana hivyo? Lakini pia hao mbona wanashukiana hivyo kwa hii nyumba yao? Yeah, nakushuku wewe unamshuku mnashukiana. What's going on? What's going on? And the hiding of things. You hid for 3 weeks, she hid for 1 week. Ay. You know, and then she was very strategic. It was a public holiday. So she knew he was going to be home.
She has been scheming.
Amekuwa why? Anyway, that was our show.
I'm going to go home, but we'll be back tomorrow with an even more exciting show. Goodbye.